Rose is your name, but when you poop it sure don't smell like roses. Your number 2 burns the hair in my nose, but we fought hand in paw. Now your poop don't stink at all. Now that the air is clear, I'll treasure your front and rear, my sweet Rose.
Instantly neutralize poop stink with Poop Fighter from World's Best Cat Litter for the world's best cat.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
Your ancestors rode the great mythosaur. Surely you can ride this young foal.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie here tells me you're looking for passage to the Alderaan system.
Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship.
The doctor told us what happened down on 2.
It's true, isn't it? They fried the whole bridge.
It's worse than that. It's why.
I love you.
Must be the truth serum talking.
No. It's me.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
You know, I've been thinking about different things to do on Coffee with Kenobi for a long time. As many people know, I'm always as the Coffee with Kenobi barista. Is that a thing? I try to find ways to make the show new and fresh while still keeping it kind of on that same level of what you've come to love and enjoy. Fortunately for me, about this podcast. So one of the things you may have noticed in my intros over the past month or so is I've been talking about how Star Wars is about the people, stories, experiences, philosophies, but people's comes first. People comes first. So I wanted to do a series of shows, you know, whenever I've got an opening in the CWK Cafe, to talk to people, fans who love the saga and are just good people that make this community thrive, percolate, and just be what it is. So who better to have for the very first story about their fandom than the co-creator and my best pal, Cory Clubb. Cory.
Oh, golly gee, I'm excited for this. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like what I've done with the place, man?
I love the place. It looks fantastic. The lights look good. Oh, you upgrade the AC. Good job. Well done.
The AC.
So glad. It was so hot that first night.
Yes, it was.
Just two bumbling guys trying to talk about things we love, and here we are today. Fantastic.
And I'm still bumbling, but hopefully with a little more panache. So yeah, this is
great.
So you have no idea what's going to happen, and no one knows.
I have no idea.
You're the first person. I really was like, I want to kick this off with a bang. I got to do it with Cory, and fortunately, you're able to do this. I'm really glad. I've got a series of 20 questions.
Okay.
And this is Cory Clubb's Star Wars story, and I want you to wax as poetic as you want. Just kind of take it in, and I'm going to give every guest the option of seeing the questions in advance.
Okay.
Or just kind of waiting to see how the conversation goes, and tell our friends what you decided and tell us why.
Yeah. If listeners are experienced Patreon members to our CWK Pour-Over show, they will know that I love to have the questions early and prep my answers and just think about it for a little bit, percolate, if you will, like he said, about what I want to say, or, it just gives us some thought. Do a little research maybe. And I've been kind of coming over to the side of, you know what? Go with your heart, go with your mind, enjoy the moment. And I did ask you some initial questions, kind of like, hey, what do I need to think deep about some of this stuff? Or is it kind of off the cuff? Because usually it's like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? And you say, oh, it's A New Hope, or it's Rogue One, or what have you. So it's easy to answer those. But if you're just getting more deep into stuff, why does the Force exist? What does that really mean to you, and all that kind of thing? There's some more thought that needs put to that. So I like to think about those a little longer and have a better answer than just I don't know. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited for it. I love to reminisce about my Star Wars fandom, and I think this is going to be a great series.
Well, I am glad. Well, let's see. I'm so excited for your answers, and honestly, some of these, I don't know what you're going to say because, as you know, our fandoms, our passions, they evolve. Your Star Wars story has evolved.
True.
So let's start at the beginning. Do you remember the first time you heard about Star Wars? Just heard about it, and what was that experience like for you? Think it like Star Wars just kind of as a pop culture concept, as a franchise, as a film, as a whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you heard about it, and what was that like?
It's a great question. I'm reaching back into the archives, and I always think back to my older cousin. He's 6 years older than I am, and he was huge in the Star Wars. I remember playing in his room. A lot of times he wasn't there. He was older than me, so he was probably older in school, doing other things and cooler things. But I remember him being in his room, and he had a Michael J. Fox poster up on the wall. I don't know which movie it was. It wasn't Back to the Future, but it was something else. And you do that whole 360 turnaround, a cool kid's room. You're like, oh man, he had the Star Wars toys. He had the everything. I remember him having just the cool stuff. I also remember him having the movies on VHS. And for some reason, this sticks out in my mind when you asked this question was somebody had taken a VHS, where you peel on the label and written "Return the Jedi" in marker, like a green or red marker, on the label of the VHS, and recorded it off of the TV when it was on TV. I remember that for some reason that sticks in my mind as something I didn't like. I just encountered that as knowing, that's what Star Wars is. For some reason, it's a weird recollection that I have, and that Return of the Jedi being the one movie that kind of sticks out to me, which I would have expected I would have watched in order. But boy, now that I think back, that I think I was still in the comics. I remember maybe seeing advertisements in comics, or just pop culture zeitgeist of Star Wars. Maybe going into movie rental theater or stores to rent movies and seeing posters. Sure. Gosh, I don't know actually one single memory, but those seem to come to mind for me.
Right. So you just had your cousin, and I thought you were going to bring up your cousin because I know that wasn't there something with your cousin and action figures?
Oh yeah, he definitely had the action figures. We play with him all the time. He had a lot of the Hoth play sets. So he had the minifigures that went with the Hoth play set, and he also had the 3 3/4 Kenner action figures. Specifically, I remember playing with the Scout Trooper and the little button would make it explode. The bike would explode and go over the place. I always think that was the coolest action element of that, and then the way they looked really cool. I can see up on your shelf there in the background of your office there. I can see that character. So that's the one that we play with. And
yep.
I remember having Han Solo in his Hoth gear in that way. And I always thought it was interesting because you always saw his little round face on there. Some of the aliens and such. I think he had a Darth Vader. He had the big Darth Vader collectible kit where you could open it up and lay all the characters in there and fit them all in there. And that was cool.
Oh, yeah. Now, was all this before you saw the movie?
I want to say it was. I think I was pretty young. I think he had all that stuff from when he was a kid. And I want to say it was before I saw the movie. I remember playing with that stuff. I'm trying to think of the first time I saw the movie. I don't really
that actually
remember
leads
that.
To my next question, which is
okay.
What movie, show, or book first captured your attention and why?
Man, I want to say it was it always started off with the early toys, obviously watching the movies on VHS, and over again. We're watching those over and over multiple times. And then the 90s hit and the novels were out. I remember I had a book. It was an appendix. I don't know if they make it anymore. It's the expanded universe of Star Wars, and it had all the planets and character names, and it was almost a dictionary, if you will, of Star Wars. And I had read that voraciously as just learning things. I thought that was pretty cool to see, all this world building stuff put together. In the 90s, even still the re-releases came out, the special editions were a huge big deal because they had extra scenes, and it was just going back to the theater was a really big deal. Like because us kids in the 80s and 90s didn't have that, like, you know, nostalgia experience going and see it in theaters, and so we could actually get that feeling. And I remember it was like all across America, it was like hot news. Like they had the Power of the Force come out. I remember the Taco Bell collectibles.
A lot
kinds of that stuff. A lot of stuff. It was like a reignite for Star Wars, and it was just like so cool because we had some of those books and I guess they're Legends stuff now, but like a lot of stuff was kind of trickled along. They had maybe some comic books here and there, but it really wasn't a huge deal in the early 90s until the special issues really kicked it off.
So I guess then the question would be, and this isn't one of the original questions, but you're also my
guinea pig.
Guinea pig, yes. I'm trying to think of a Star Wars term for this. So when did you officially decide or know in your heart I'm hooked?
I had a freshman year of high school. I went to Richards High School. I had a social studies teacher, very cool. She had a giant Star Wars poster behind her desk, and I thought that was the coolest thing. She talked about things like archaeology, and she would show us a little bit Indiana Jones and stuff. It was just like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. That's where I think I felt like there was other people like that like Star Wars like me, right? Does it make sense? Like you kind of like, oh yeah, it's not just me. It's these other people that are out there.
You.
Yeah. And I think that this is before, I want to say, I started going to comic conventions in my high school years as well, and seeing people, you know, cosplay and stuff. I thought like, well, you can actually do this. Like, whoa, this person like went all out, and you know, all that kind of stuff. You read magazines and stuff and thought, oh, that like seems like a really cool idea. Until you actually go to those places, you meet people, and you're like, oh man, these people are just like me. They love this stuff, and they get really geeky about it and dissect it and talk about it and enjoy it and buy all the things and put all the stuff on their collectibles on their wall, and just like, and it's cool. Like this is a cool thing, and like. That wasn't a cool thing back in the 90s for a while. Like that was like, oh, you're a nerd or you're a geek, or that was like the kind of the stereotype in that way. So it was kind of like a little bit behind the curtain for me until I met this teacher and kind of understood that like, oh, this is for everybody. Star Wars is for everybody. So
what a
cool.
Great story. So it sounds like basically as long as you can remember, Star Wars has just kind of been a part of popular culture. You've always liked it, but that was kind of that moment. Just seeing an adult that you respected, that liked it.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That kind of helped. So it wasn't like you were in the theater and it's like, oh, this is great, but it would just kind of all work together.
Yeah, I think it was all worked together. I don't think it was, I mean,
it's kind of refreshing. Yeah. I kind of like that. That's really neat.
Well, it's like a homegrown version of the fandom, right? So we only had home videos of watching it off the TV. So, I mean, at that point, it was that's all you had to consume. You could rent them from the movie theater or the video store. So yeah, I mean, I remember watching them over and over and over again, and just thinking of stories in my mind and just living the universe. I think that's where it comes to where you don't want to make it stop. You know, you enjoy it so much that it's like,
I've heard of
this.
this.
I want to live in this moment and for all of time and enjoy it. So yeah, definitely that's where it became. I don't want to say an obsession. It's not an obsession. I think it's a fandom grew, right? A serious fandom. Yeah. Passion, for sure.
For sure. All right, well, let's get down to some specifics of the Star Wars franchise for you. You knew this one was coming. The next two, I think, will be pretty obvious for you. Who is your favorite character, and what about them speaks to you?
And I've answered this question so many times throughout the years, even through CWK, and just it always seems to kind of evolve over the years. Man, it's just, what day of the week is it? I always think of that. You know, I really grown to love Han Solo. I mean, everyone wants to be Luke, and of course, Mandalorian's like the new favorite.
That's what I thought you might say, but I wasn't sure.
I always think back to like Han Solo is just being a breakout character. I always think about that. You can't recreate him. He's one of a kind. He's a scoundrel, but also a heart of gold. I also think it was unique at the time. And I always think of, how do you write this character? How do you make him lovable, but he's kind of scruffy and, and I get that way as I get older. I get kind of scruffy and irritated sometimes, but I've got a whole heart of gold, I hope.
Yes, you do.
And, at the end, I get frustrated, but also I'll do the right thing. I would hope that I would do that. So, yeah, Han Solo is my answer for today, and I think that I relate to him in those ways.
I love that. The roguish charm, but you're much more
That's right.
a charmer than a rogue, in my opinion. Do you have a favorite film?
This one is, again, it's changed over the years, and I've been saying this lately, and I'm kind of proud of it. I'm going to say Rogue One. Only because I feel like that movie has come a long way, and it really holds up. I haven't rewatched, Andor season 1, season 2. Really maybe have appreciation for what Rogue One is, and the fact that they took a story in a franchise and made it kind of their own. That I've told people that have, if you've never seen Star Wars or introduce someone new to Star Wars, show them Rogue One, because you can easily read into A New Hope, and I think it just fits you in that world without overwhelming you, right? You don't have to know what the Force is. You don't know what necessarily all the characters or crazy things are. You can understand the fact that these people are trying to do a good thing in hard times, and we can all relate to that kind of thing. But then if you want to explore more, you can certainly jump into the original trilogy and go from there and expand. But Rogue One, I think it just really hits all the sweet spots.
You're not the first person I've had over the years tell me that.
Yeah.
Including many of our close friends. And it's there's no wrong answers, of course, for any of these.
Right.
But I remember very vividly seeing that with you.
Yes.
For the first time, and it was over the Peoria Riverfront Museum, and then we recorded our reactions inside a Nissan Rogue Star Wars Edition vehicle. And that was a pretty cool experience. And I think we kind of associate those memories with those films too. And that sure makes a difference.
Absolutely. I think a lot of my current Star Wars memories come from CWK. Like, I remember some of my favorite memories are waiting out front of toy stores, Toys R Us, waiting for the midnight releases, and how much fun that was. Or going to Denny's, or going to Celebration. And just, my gosh, so much fun. So, absolutely.
All right, let's shift. Still on the silver screen, but the one you can carry around in your pocket or watch at home. Favorite series? Disney Plus has a lot of series. We did a little bit ago, earlier in the year. We did we ranked all of Disney Plus Star Wars series. But what's your favorite one?
I always think back to, like, what's the one that kind of started it all? I know Disney Plus was so new at the time. And over the years, they've talked about doing Star Wars TV shows. I mean, Lucas even talked about the 90s. And there's some footage out there, I think, that he had put together. But that was exciting stuff. But we'll go Mandalorian. I think that's what I feel like is kind of kept the ground going as far as Star Wars stuff. They've really ignited new fandoms, people who maybe don't go out and see the movies a lot or have seen them out of order. This is a series that can pick up and kind of, jump in that world and follow a character around and enjoy kind of this breath of fresh air into Star Wars, and just enjoy it on a multiple viewings. You can watch a whole 3 seasons, so I feel like there's a lot to be consumed, and if you move on from there, you can. I think that's I think also I have good memories attached to that. I remember that came out the very first episode I watched, I think 6 times in one day. I watched it at work once or twice with my friends. It was just a fun experience to do that. I think it was fantastic to just enjoy my fandom with my other friends at work and be at work and watching Star Wars. I think we had put an office, a meeting room, and I had put don't come to this room or something like we're totally not watching Star Wars in here or something like that. Yeah. And, we're just watching the first episode of our lunch break. It was a lot of fun. And it showed me a lot of things with my kids too. They never experienced necessarily a lot of stuff We watched obviously all the films when they came out, the sequel series. But this was one that we could actually week to week get excited about. And it's almost like that recognition of like, the Thursday night Seinfeld or the can't miss week episode of the week. And my kids never got to experience that. And here we are. We can experience that on Disney Plus with Star Wars.
When you consider the books, the animation, the Disney Plus series, I guess, or maybe something within one of the films itself, but do you have a favorite story arc in Star Wars that has always been something that has kind of stuck with you or might be your favorite? And there's a lot of great ones.
Yeah, I think that you hit on some that, so one that sticks out to me is Kanan and his sacrifice, that whole series.
Last couple episodes of Rebels.
Last couple episodes of Rebels, yeah. You kind of knew it was coming. You didn't want it to happen. That's that sacrificing for one's family, that theme, and happening on these rebels who have come so far. I remember season 1 being so kind of like all over the place and didn't know where to go, and then we got all the way down to the end, and now we've got all these revelations and these all this stuff going on, and the trials he went through, the blindness, and just trying to find his place. He was a wayward. What was the word Freddie said? It was something like he was a samurai Jedi, or he was like a lone wolf type guy, and didn't really know his way. But now he's got this young Padawan, and he's taught him he's really become into his own. He's probably grown more than the Padawan, and so his journey and his path towards that sacrifice was very impactful. I think that really stands out to me, and I remember that scene too, him using the Force to hold back that giant blast, and it consumes him. And then the aftermath too, in the sense of this is written really well. I think the characters all did a really great job of portraying that, putting that together.
I love that answer.
Thank you.
Is there a quote or a moment from Star Wars that you kind of carry with you? Not necessarily in your daily life, but that just sort of something that really stands out to you for whatever reason.
The classic line of Empire Strikes Back, where Han's going to be put into the carbonite, and he stops and says, Leia says, "I love you." He says, "I know." And such an iconic line. But my wife and I end up, she doesn't get it from Star Wars, but she says we have such a good relationship together. She tends to end sentences with that. I'll say something like, "Hey, this dinner was delicious," and she goes, "I know," things like that. And she's just so sacrificial to our relationship, and how we've grown over the years. And she's used that phrase multiple times without even knowing it. And she's not the biggest Star Wars fan, so I always kind of the light bulb switches on whenever she says "I know," and it's just great because she says it to me, and it's just like, I got this warm feeling in my heart, and it's great. I think it's a fantastic line, and it just shows their close relationship together that is said within a few words.
That's so good. I love that. Now, is there a certain piece of Star Wars media that you find yourself revisiting the most? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's your favorite or that it's the best, but is there a certain piece of Star Wars media that you find yourself revisiting more than anything else?
I guess I could throw on like Mandalorian season 1 and feel pretty good about it, because I'm pulling in those memories, and I feel like that could play, and I could enjoy that some, because I feel like memories around that. I don't tend to necessarily rewatch a whole lot of stuff. There's so much, because once I watch one thing, I think I have to watch more, and it's not like, I'll just throw it on and watch it. It's like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to consume it. That's a different thing. I want to watch it and be intense about it. And I don't typically do a lot of that, honestly. I think about it. So I guess my answer is, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know that one.
TBD. Yeah. I think that's cool. How has being a Star Wars fan influenced your life outside of the stories themselves?
I mean, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many friends I have made through Star Wars fandom, and I never thought I would. Like, I know that has a big deal with CWK and us traveling and meeting people and lifelong friends, and just the sheer volume of content we get is enough. But I mean, the friendships last forever. I don't think that you could put out a piece of Star Wars material that would make me say, oh, I know somebody who would like this, or I know somebody who would fall in love with this thing because there's so many different aspects of it. But because I've met so many people through that, and that's what's, again, go back to like kind of one of the first questions you asked was, this fandom is big for everybody. The Star Wars is for everybody, and it's so cool to see that. And it shows me that, it sounds a little cheesy. We're not alone in this, right? We're together. And
I don't think that's cheesy. It's a community.
Well, I mean, I think that the fact that we have a text between you, Jeff McGee, and I, and we tend to like get geeky on there every once in a while. Yes. Oh my gosh, you see this, and oh, you see that, and just like it feels so good to get that off my chest. I do it with my kids as well. Like we sit around and talk about, what happens if this happens, or what if it happens, what's going to happen. It's just there's so many different things. And as they even get older, the younger kids will play all the Lego Star Wars games, and now that they're older, we can watch Andor together and dissect, really get deep on some of those issues. And it's just such a great conversation, and memories are being made instantly in those moments. I think that is something not every franchise can say. It's worldwide. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, that Star Wars is probably the biggest franchise ever. I feel like you're very hard pressed to find somebody who's never seen it. I think there was some documentary crew that went to like some far off village that was, hasn't been set foot on, and they had seen Star Wars. It's just like this weird like connection we all have without knowing it. Like you could say Darth Vader and somebody knows who that is, or Yoda or Luke Skywalker. And it's just such a, oh yeah, who that is. It's like saying, who the president is, whatever. So I feel like it's just such a impactful piece of our history as pop culture fans, for sure.
I agree with that. This next one, I'm just going to read it how it's worded, because I wrote these questions just very general for anybody. So we're going to modify that after I ask. I'll just read it to you the way it's written.
Okay.
Have you attended Star Wars events like Celebration, fan meetups, or cosplay gatherings? What was the highlight?
Oh man,
I know you have, because I've been with you on the majority of the ones I've been to.
Celebrations are out of this world. I mean, you can't get any bigger and better than that. But I want to say one of my favorite events I've ever done was the I completely skipping my mind now. The Disney Star Cruiser.
The Galactic Star Cruiser.
Galactic Star Cruiser Halcyon. Thank you. That is no longer available, but we had a chance to go do that. It was a once in a lifetime thing, and I felt like I stepped into Star Wars. It was almost just as good as stepping on a movie set, but yet there were no cameras. You're literally immersed into this experience, and we all dressed up, and all our friends were there. I mean, you couldn't turn around and bump into somebody without knowing who they were, and the whole experience, from the food to the music to the storyline to the gift shop to waking up early and walking around the ship like by yourself, and just the hum of the traveling through space. It was completely immersive. I mean, there's nothing, I don't know. I'd rather do that again, maybe than go on a Star Wars movie set. Like, I feel like that is where you would live to be on Star Wars. I mean, if they have other experiences like that, I would love to partake, but that one is the tops for sure. And again, like I said, being with friends and experiencing it all together, laughing along the way, and just having some great memories was, probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life.
You know what? And you're talking about the MEI Travel, Mouse Fan Travel.
That's right.
Coffee With Kenobi travel experience. First one we ever did. And I agree. I mean, we could literally spend the entire hour just reminiscing about that incredible trip with those wonderful people. Oh, gosh. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know what you were going to say.
Chills.
Yeah, seriously. So are there certain creators in the world of Star Wars, professional fans, artists, writers, etc. I even have podcasters here, but that's, that inspire you.
I don't think I'd be the fan I am today without you and CWK. Honestly, I think my fandom would just be it would just be. And that's okay, right? I mean, I think that's okay. My kids and I would probably have fun with it. And I'd probably secretly get excited about things and not how to express it. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So coming on the show, being with you, having been friends with you over the years has impacted me to be even a greater fan. I think there's a memory I have of going to Celebration, and at the Star Wars booth, you could dress up and go be a part of the booth and interact with the fans and interact with the behind the scenes with the cantina
StarWars.com live stream.
You pushed me to go do that. And just go give it a shot. We went up to the dressing room, got our little costumes on, and went down and got to stay in there for a little while and got some great memories from that. And I would have never done that if it wouldn't have been for you or our friends with us. And I think that's a big part of my fandom even today. Like I said, whenever I hear something Star Wars or something exciting, you're the first person I text 100%. And that's exciting for me. Another one is the I can't remember his official title, but Doug Chain, the art director from Star Wars, who has been so instrumental in creating everything from the robots to the Disney parks. His love for design and eye for creativity is just so inspiring. I have a little book down here on my bookshelf that I refer to sometimes for my own creative outlet, to put my own, how did he do this? What was he thinking here? And just understanding, seeing him speak to that is I have such respect for that. And through CWK, I had the honor to bump into him at Disney World and at Batuu, and it was that was a kindred thing. I think that was a great moment to just express my admiration for his art and his ability to give back to this franchise. And I love to see what he's doing. He's always working on little things along the way, so it's pretty cool to see his work still expand even further into the galaxy. The last person I will say is somebody we wrote down on a piece of paper on our, we started putting this together, and it's our good friend James Arnold Taylor. He has since become good friends with us. Actually, I've met him for lunch locally here, and he is nothing but the best when it comes to meeting fans and just being intentional with the time. He's not quick to put it aside or just say hi. He'll definitely speak to you and ask you questions, and he loves the franchise. He loves the fans. I know that he puts all that on his social media as well. He's a genuine article for sure. He is who he is, and I believe that he is doing great work, and I love that he has such fingerprints all over this franchise.
And all of the people, James and Doug, genuine, nice people, genuinely good human beings that independent of Star Wars, you would still love to speak with because they're just nice guys, nice people.
Well, I was going to say too, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been fans a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be hard pressed that I've never met someone who I didn't disliked or have not got along with. I think there's a big, I don't say it's a problem, but it's a misnomer, if you will, in Star Wars fandom that we're just mean to each other, or we're rude, or that we don't care for each other. I think that's quite the opposite. I never had an issue with anybody at all our years of doing this show and being a part of Star Wars fandom. I've never had a bad encounter or a missed opportunity. I think it's easy to fall in that trap, and but it's so much better to be positive towards something you love.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. So the next one, do you share Star Wars with friends, family, or the next generation, and how do they respond?
One of my greatest joys in my fandom is celebrating Star Wars with my kids, my family. It's definitely been exciting, and I love that we're at this point where we can consume all these things through Disney Plus, to go to the movie theater, have these experiences, and just growing up with it. This is what they've grown up with. They've grown up with Coffee with Kenobi, and they've grown up with all these new Star Wars movies and TV shows and books and soundtracks and all this other stuff. So I feel like they have a lot more than we did growing up, and they can consume so much more. But they get so excited about it, and I always think, like, if I was not a Star Wars fan, would they still be excited about it? Would they be interested? I think so. I think that definitely be a cool thing for them if I wasn't such a big fan. But I definitely think it is a huge part of their lives because of me, in a good way. And they've dressed up for Jedis at Halloween, and they've quitted things, and we've done like fun little things around the house. We've done rewatches. We've done all kinds of stuff. So I feel like it's just part of who we are, part of our family.
Yeah.
And so I will say that I try my dangest to get my wife to get into it and be a part of it, because I think it's a blast. But I have yet to convince her. Early on in our dating years, episode 2 came out, and I said, well, let's go watch the midnight release. And she said, sure, let's do that. And I said, let's watch episode 1 first, so you get an idea of what's going on. And she fell asleep during episode 1 at home, and that's okay. We still went to the movie theater together, and she thought it was hilarious that we're hooping and hollering about when Yoda walks in to take on Dooku. I mean, the crowd went crazy. People were dressed up. There's lightsabers flying. And I think it was her first and last taste of a Star Wars experience. But she does root for us and definitely keeps us on our hearts as she sees us enjoy it. So it's big fun.
Yeah, and it does make a difference, and it's almost kind of fun that, because obviously Deanna, not a huge Star Wars fan either, but the love and support we have from the people who love us the most empowers us, enables us, maybe, in a good way.
There was one year, there's one year that we dressed up as Han Solo and Chewbacca for Halloween. She had a blast doing that. She was Chewbacca. Yeah. I was Han Solo, of course. But of course. Yeah, so it was a great time. And she does that stuff, I think, just for me. And I think that's, it shows that must have been before. I've got pictures. I've got photos.
Was that before I knew you?
No, that was here. We did, I think, our first year we moved to Tennessee.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Yeah. What about with friends? Like, when you meet new people, like, inevitably Star Wars will probably come up.
I want to say that being a part of Star Wars and being such a big fan of it, when you meet new people or you're in a new situation or starting a new job or you're in a room full of people, like, if somebody brings up Star Wars, your ears like perk up. I feel like, but you also don't want to be like that guy.
Exactly.
And I've tried to like tone it down sometimes. Like, I just slow, just ease into it. Don't break it off here. So I feel like, over the years, I've tried slowly, like, ease into it sometimes, but then people are like, so, like, what do you think about this? And they'll ask something about, just randomly, Lucasfilm doing that, and I'll just like, how much time do you have? So it's like, it's hard, I think, to be people like that, because I would ask, well, what's your favorite movie, or what have you seen so far? Like, and kind of gauge, where their fandom lies, right? So I feel like a lot of people I meet are casual fans. They've seen the movies here and there. Oh yeah, I watched those movies, and like, but they tend to like get the episodes mixed up or out of order, and it's no fault of them. It just is what it is. Right. But I don't want to barf my Star Wars fandom all over them and ask them the favorite color lightsaber. It's just not. It's like what questions to ask and what not to ask, because I feel like if you go too hard, they're like, oh, this conversation's over. I can't go where you're going right now, and so. It's with anything, right? If they were to like ask me about fly fishing, and I was like, oh boy, I've heard of it, I've seen it in movies and stuff, I've never done it before, and then they go rambling on and on about fly fishing, and I have no idea. Well, obviously something they love, but I can't relate. I can't get there, and I found that kind of fascinating. But then you do find somebody who just likes Star Wars, and then all of a sudden there's some kindred spirit and it clicks. And you're like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, and then it's just like you've been friends the entire time. Like you never knew this person existed, and now boom, here you go. You've got a brand new friend that because of Star Wars, it's an instant I know who you are type thing. Or somebody's wearing a Star Wars shirt that's like unique in its own way. They have a certain phrase or something like "aha," where it's at. You've got it right, or it's just you just know what you know.
So my next one says, and you've really kind of addressed this quite a bit in a very profound way, but do you have anything more to add if I ask you the question, talk about your experiences within the Star Wars community?
I'm still flabbergasted is the word I'll use.
Okay.
About how much people are ravenous about Star Wars. Like I've seen new things online all the time of people who are doing unique things in celebrating their Star Wars fandom, and I'm just blown away about the intricate detail or the ability to think outside the box, or their commitment to something that is centered around Star Wars. And I was like, honestly, sometimes I'm like, well, that's too much. I can't. I saw a guy riding a unicycle dressed like Darth Vader with a kilt, playing the bagpipes while on fire, and I was like, it's true. Congratulations, buddy. You've reached a threshold I can't get. But
he's talking about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's who it was under that mask. Yeah, that guy. But I'm just floored by how much people love this franchise and willing to go to great lengths to celebrate that. I think that's so astounding. It's fascinating, and may it never stop. I always too. I think that it's fantastic that people get so excited about this stuff and enjoy it. I would wish, like I said before, I wish that we could find a common ground between older fans, newer fans, what have you, and be able to just enjoy it for what it is. I tend to, it's easy to become negative about something. You're like, this isn't because I thought it was going to be this, or even my personal opinion on certain things. I've found myself grumbling about certain things. Well, it's Starfighter, and it's this hot new young actor, and he's going to be the next thing, and I don't care. Just enjoy it for what it is. You're just getting scoops and scoops and scoops of Star Wars ice cream. Enjoy it for what it is. Like you love it. This is your thing. Why would you hate on something you love so much? I think that's just fascinating to me, and I would hope that we could just, as fans, just come closer. Online and offline. Absolutely.
Do you collect Star Wars memorabilia, books, or merchandise? And what is your most treasured Star Wars item?
I feel like, oh man, yes, I do actually, Dan. I have a variety of different things. Yes, looking at things right now as we speak. I've got multiple novels. I've come and gone over those of the years. I keep ones that I love and ones I have not read. And I've got a couple different comic book trade paperbacks. I have individual comics, a lot of action figures. What else? I'm looking around my room right now. I'm looking over at. I'll pick it up because I know there's no video in here, but I want to look at it. Just hold it in front of the camera.
Sure. And I realize asking you this as with many is kind of a silly question to ask because I sort of know the answer, but I don't know how you're going to explain it.
No, I think it's interesting because I feel like as I've gotten older, I've tried to slow down my collecting. I know you. Yeah. Yes. Oh, for sure. I think that there's certain things I will never get rid of, and there's certain things that I have to have. There's things I have to pass up on. Like, oh, that'd be great to have. I just don't have the space for it. Or I just I feel like there's certain seasons you go into and out of, and it just comes and goes. And like I said, I just mentioned the Starfighter Ryan Gosling movie that's coming up. Like, I'm excited for that. I cannot wait. Yes. When they start coming out with merchandise or T-shirts, I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. I'm in right now. Show me. Do you remember they did an announcement? He had that hat on. You and I are talking about that back and forth quite a while. Where did we get this hat?
Yeah.
And that I fall into a hype bucket, and all of a sudden I'm trying to get my way out of there, and I'm looking on Etsy, and somebody's made them. I'm like, I can get one. But do I really need one? So it's such a hard line. I now go for like kind of memorabilia stuff, like stuff that will last a long time, that tell a story. And the last celebration we went to San Diego, is that right?
Anaheim.
Okay, it was Anaheim and then back. Okay, but I was able to meet Jat. I know he was on our panel at the
Chicago.
Chicago, where he was. Was it Chicago?
Yep.
It was Chicago. I'm getting mixed up now. So Chicago, he was on our panel, and I felt it was going to be weird to ask him for an autograph. But I went through the correct lines of communication and purchased one, got in line with everybody else, and was able to purchase a Funko of him here. I'm holding it here. But
awesome.
He signed the Funko. It's sitting on my shelf over there next to my Star Wars books. And I get to look over at it and had a great memory. We had a great conversation. He was nothing but kind and gracious. And it's just a cool little thing. I think it's a fun thing to have. And I think it's fantastic. I for a while there wanted a lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge, but I just didn't know where else to put it. My kids actually both have one. What else? There's so many different things. I just think that, like, to me, I feel like I'm chasing now memories. I'm chasing memories and collecting memories. And so if there's like a statue or action figure or something that coincides with memories or just something fun. Here's a good one. We just talked about this through our text chat, was the Lego reindeer
gingerbread AT-AT.
Gingerbread AT-AT. Yeah, I mean, come on. You can get better than that. That's just a blast to put together during the holiday season. They marketed that perfectly and at a great price point. I mean, that's just easy money right there. So, I definitely collect that stuff. I've slowed down over the years. But who knows? Celebration's coming right back. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just a few years until the 50th anniversary. Speaking of,
that's right.
This will be very prescient, I think, very soon, but it already is a thing for people. Do you have any personal Star Wars traditions, like rewatching a certain movie at a certain time of year? Things on May the 4th that you find yourself partaking in? And you may not.
Yeah. No, we don't do a whole lot necessarily in our household. I think, was it last year, maybe 2 years ago, wife Holly had purchased a cake. Was it a cake? Star Wars cake or something like that, just for fun for I almost said July 4th, May the 4th. And I think that somebody dressed up for something. They were having Star Wars at their job or something, and we were laughing about that. But we don't really watch movies at a certain point in the year. We did watch Rogue One around Thanksgiving for a while, 3 years in a row.
I like that.
For some reason, just because I feel like it was, I don't know what it was. We just happened to do it.
It's like a winterish thing, and it came out in December.
Yeah, it did. Yep. And so I don't know. We really don't have a lot of necessarily traditions. That's a good question. We should have some. I feel like I'm missing out.
Well, if this there's impossible transition from that, so I'll just jump to the next one. If you could bring one prop home from the Star Wars universe, what would it be?
I mean, instantly I think of a lightsaber, right? Because that's just so iconic. That's just
which one?
Such a Star Wars. I mean, it would be Luke's lightsaber from Episode 1 or Episode 4.
Right.
I feel like that's the one that's been. Yeah, I feel like that's the one. I feel like
not the Mando helmet. Paffy expected you to say that.
No, I don't think I do the Mando helmet, but I think I do that. I think you said props. Well, I actually think of Darth Vader's helmet because I feel like that's just a piece of history. I think that it really is. And if it's the prop from the original movie, I feel like it's going to be a little kind of like not perfect, if you know what I mean. Like I feel like they're just trying to figure out how to make a lightsaber. What is even that put together? They use like different parts from different cameras and different things, and so I feel like that's like, oh yeah, this kind of feels like a lightsaber. Like, what was that process like? What was that going through their heads? And they went with it. Now that's what it is, and now they, knock those suckers out for toys, all the time. And so I think I'm gonna go with lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber from A New Hope.
His father wanted him to have it when he was old enough.
He did. That's right. He looked right down the barrel and shoot you out.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. What do you think makes Star Wars so enduring after all these years, and what does it mean to you personally? Like you mentioned earlier that you think it's the most popular franchise and fandom ever. So why do you think that is? Why does it last for so long, and what does that mean to you, for you?
I mean, I think of us as a people, we feel like we're so alone and distant. I think sometimes I think, I'm the only person that thinks this way or is doing this thing or whatever the case may be, whether it be Star Rebellion or, stuck on a desert planet or whatever the case may be. You feel like this is it. This is me. And you come to realize, no, I'm not alone here anymore. I'm able to go and have an adventure and strike out on my own and see what happens. And I think that's the invigoration of the ultimate adventure. I'm thinking this through as I say it, but I feel like we as a people just are looking to go on great adventures and explore and be able to just, I don't know. I say imagine, but I feel like, you daydream, but like you're like, oh, I'll never do that. But like, I think we want to do those things. We want to go do those crazy things. And this is a way to escape that, right? This is a franchise that's grounded in zero history, and everything's made up. There's nothing true, but we love it so much because I think it's an escape, and it allows us to not feel so alone anymore. Like you said, we have a fandom that surrounds us, and we're able to enjoy this with other people. I feel like if you're the only person who sees Star Wars at all, you're the only person who's trying to tell people about this movie, you see the only person who's seen it, like they wouldn't be interested. It's just like, that'd be so defeating. But like I said, you could go talk to anybody about it. They're going to know something about it. And I think that's such a powerful thing. It's connective tissue, if you will, as people. I don't know. It seems so weird to say it that way, but like, I feel there's other things too, but like, there's just like, it's almost like, hey, do you like to eat sandwiches? I do too. And they're like, oh yeah, sandwiches. Like, I feel like that's something we could say with Star Wars and all connect on some level. And you could actually run into somebody who doesn't like it and still have a conversation. You can run into somebody who loves it and still have a conversation. Somebody who'd never seen it before and have a conversation. Somebody who's seen it too much and have a conversation. Like, there's so many things. And you can't say that about all the other franchises out there. I mean, there's some out there that are very large as well, I think big. But Star Wars has endured, I think, because of that. It's kept that going. Has there been some misfires along the way? Sure. I mean, nothing's perfect. But I think it's that ability to explore and imagine and create.
Fantastic. Really, really lovely, really well thought out. Heartfelt. Now, this is one that I kind of came up with towards the end, obviously, but it's something that I wasn't sure about putting in, but I feel like it's a good one because I think it's honest. Have your feelings about Star Wars changed over the years? And if so, how? Positive or negative?
I would say 100%. Boy, like I've said all along, I feel like Star Wars has been such a fantastic, amazing franchise for me as a fan over the years. I don't know, it's been something that I've been able to grow up with and share with my family as they grow up and share or meet new people and friends and be able to have experiences I've never dreamt of ever having. So, I mean, to me, that's just, I wouldn't take that away for anything. But on the other side of things, like I said, it's not all perfect. There's for my fandom, I feel like I have to pick and choose what I want to consume Star Wars. And
there's only so much time in the day. It's hard.
Well, I hate to say this, but there's almost too much.
Right.
And it overwhelms me. And I don't want to always do Star Wars. Like you said, you walk in the room and you're the Star Wars guy. You're like, okay, well, that's not just me. There's other things about me that are interesting or unique. And like, no, you're the Star Wars guy. Star Wars guy. And it's like, well, come on. And now I'm like, I kind of hate Star Wars. Like I said, I've gone into jobs and not mentioned anything about Star Wars or tried not to. And just because I don't want to be the Star Wars guy, like it's like, oh, what do you think about this Star Wars thing? Or what's this? I mean, ask you this crazy random trivia question about Star Wars, and yeah, I know a lot, but I don't know a ton. But like, I feel like it kind of weighs down a little bit sometimes. Like it feels like, do I have to know all this stuff? Do I have to collect all these things? What if I just stopped? What if I didn't watch the movie? What if I don't care anymore? And that's a little bit of a weight lifted off the shoulders a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit of a burnout. There's also a little bit of like, it's to consume it and understand it and recollect all these things. It's a lot. It's like, I'm tired of this. And that's just me talking. I'm not saying it for anybody else, just myself. And
Right.
There's seasons, like I said, there's seasons you go through. And I feel like the seasons are good and bad. They're like, hey, like I said, a brand new season of Mandalorian has come out. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. This is fantastic. And there's dry seasons where like, I'm tired of trying to keep up with what happened the last time in this episode or this cartoon series or whatever have you, or this book or this comic or this, well, this connect over here and this connect over here. Well, this sit over here and this sit over here. And it's like, whoa, well, what are we doing here? There's no collective idea. We're all over the place. And it's like, who's in charge here? Nobody knows. Or they're just trying to print money. They're trying to make money. That's all I want to do. They don't care about the fans. They want to make stuff, da, 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 da. And I get some of that. I feel that some way sometimes. I'm like, man, I watch Andor and I think, man, there's so much passion and conviction behind this stuff. It's so grounding and so raw. But then you watch something else and you're like, man, this flopped because where's the passion? Where's the heart? Well, maybe that's my perspective. I think that's okay. I think there's criticism and everything is art, right? So you can have a criticism towards it. I think that's healthy. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to tear it down. It's just not my jam. But I feel like sometimes like, why don't we put heart in everything? Give it everything a chance. If these creators and presenters and actors are getting paid to do this, and this is their passion, this is like they're the ultimate quote fan. Like where'd that go? What happened? I'm not just saying this is Star Wars. That happens across a lot of fandoms, I think. But
yes,
you have the ability and the backing to do some great, great, great things. And I feel like sometimes they drop the ball, and that hurts as fans because I'm like, do I have to keep on doing this? Do I want to keep on doing this? I think that's healthy and very good to take a break. I think that's a good thing to realize that and go, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just take summer off, or I'm going to take a film off on people who just don't watch the film yet. They wait for a digital release or something. And I think that's really great. I think that's the way to consume it. Slow down, put something else prioritize in your life, prioritize your health, prioritize your well-being, your family, your friends. I think that's fantastic. Go do those things. Absolutely. I would support that. But you're always welcome back. That's the thing I think of too. I feel like Star Wars always welcomes you back. And they're like, we're glad to have you back and we're excited to show you the next thing. So those are my thoughts on the franchise all around.
I really appreciate your honesty, and it's honest. I mean, it's refreshing. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would probably be able to relate to that in one degree or another. So I appreciate you opening that door because I think it's important, I think we are affected by our surroundings and our histories and our experiences. And, Star Wars is certainly a part of that, but it is just a part of that. Now, that being said, I want you to think about characters or specific elements of the mythology of Star Wars in general. Is there an unexplored corner of the galaxy, a story that hasn't been told yet, that you'd love to see told in a future story?
Oh, you're asking the creator to create something. Man, in high school, I wrote a fan fiction story about a wayward, I think she was a smuggler or something. Chista De Vera was her name. I don't know, it popped in my head for some reason. But I had wrote the story. She had gone up with a gangster and she was trying to get away. And it wasn't a long story, but I just love that way of living the universe. I feel like if there's a way to capture the everyday man, if you will, or everyday rogue, if you will, living and doing things, and getting affected by the bigger pieces of the story, right? They're the Skywalker things. I always feel like they're like the echelon of the hierarchy.
Sure.
And what does every person think? They're the ones just trying to get by. Let's follow them around for a while and see what happens. It's, see what adventures and things they're getting involved in and how it affects. We kind of saw that, I think, with Andor.
I was going to say, it reminds me of season 1 of Andor to a degree.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's interesting and cool. But I also think of, the fringes of the Star Wars universe that haven't been explored, those outer rim places that
So you want to see
Don't know-
something brand new that isn't necessarily tied to the Skywalker saga, but just
Yes,
something
right.
that is just people
Yeah.
doing their thing and making it feel like you did on the Star Cruiser.
That's what I was going for. Yeah, I was like, kind of like, how could you create that, and be able to put that into in a film or TV series or something like that, and follow them around, and make it exciting, obviously, but like make you really feel like you're really in depth in the Star Wars universe. I don't know how you do that. I feel like when we saw Rey when she was making that soup, remember that soup with the bread? The whole little experience was really cool. Like, oh man, this is how they live in Star Wars to a small degree, right? There's normal people. It just made you feel you're part of that a little bit along the way. And it's really interesting. I know they touched on this in the Ahsoka series, which I thought opened up a lot of space, no pun intended, but we traveled to a different galaxy, a different, I don't know, wormhole or something. And it was just like almost different timeline. Like there was no touch of the Skywalker saga mishappings in this universe, and there was a lot of question marks there. I love to explore that. I would hope that they would do that in season 2. Dave Filoni, I'm sure, has something up his sleeve great for us to consume. But I would love to go see that, and again, like I said, not have to worry about the Skywalker, the saga itself, and the whole conflict of that, and just enjoy for what it is. Like again, I feel like Mandalorian did that, Andor did that. Like you kind of like this little corner of the universe to go and explore.
A clean slate.
There, clean slate.
I love that. And finally, our last question. If you could give one piece of advice to someone just starting their Star Wars journey, what would it be?
Find your joy. That's what I would say to them. It's so funny because I feel like, again, like I said, you can go and watch something and really, wow, this is fantastic. Find your joy. Find that little piece of Star Wars that is your thing. I don't know what it is. It's for you. It's yours to find out. Yours to go claim. Yours to go discover. Maybe it's something that no one's ever heard of. You're gonna go track it down and figure out what it is. But find your joy in Star Wars and share it with people. I would share it with other people, and I think you'll find a lot of people will be very interested in what you have to do or have to say. I know people have talked to me about starting a Star Wars podcast. Well, what do we even talk about? I was like, talk about what you want to talk about. You make it your own show. Well, I can't do what you guys do. Well, you're not us. You're not us doing our thing. You're doing your thing. I can't do it your way. You're the ones that are going to do that. Oh, yes, you're true. It's true. Yeah. I think I've always told people that, like, about podcasting and just in fandom in general. Make it your own. Don't worry about what people are doing. Don't worry about what the people think. Go find your joy in Star Wars and make it your own and share it.
Absolutely. Because it is, because it can be daunting. I have friends that I've only seen a couple of the movies, or they say, hey, I want to get into Star Wars. Where do I start? Because I think, like you said, if it's not going to be fun and a nice, pleasant escape, then don't even bother. But I think the fun has to be the first part. And so, I don't know. I don't know where I would steer people first. I mean,
like to me, it's, I always think of, if you've never seen the movies or you haven't seen them in a long time, Star Wars A New Hope. I mean, that's the one that started it all. I always feel like if they just made that movie and that was it, that was the only movie they made, nothing else came out to be, no figure lines, no comic books, nothing. It was the only film that came out. That's where it's at. That's what was groundbreaking at the time. That's what pushed the limits. That what drove what CGI is today. Like this is such a groundbreaking film. And if you want to study film, that's one to pick up. And there's so many different things that are, and creators that are on there that were leaders and frontiersmen of that film and television or screen. And so I feel like for that alone, go watch it. and go watch it, watch it and see what you didn't see back then. I always feel like you watch as a kid, you're like, oh, it's so amazing because you're just like blown away by all the cool stuff. Watch as an adult, you're like, oh, I'm seeing new things now. Oh, they said that. Oh, they really meant this. Okay. Because I tend to like rewatch things that I'm older now, and I feel like, oh, I did not get that joke or that innuendo, or I'm like, oh man, how did I watch this as a kid? This is way over my head. Like, it's just, I feel like, so I think too, it's like, go revisit that and see if that, you pick up some feelings along that. Then explore more after that. Like, where do you want to go next? What do you want to consume? What do you like to consume? Is it reading material? Is it something online? Is it a video game? Whatever. There's so much out there. You got to kind of be unique in your way. Like, oh, I love to go play board games. Okay, there's board games. Let's go check that out. So there's definitely a lot of things out there to do. That's where I'd start.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is.
You know what? I can't imagine starting this whole version of Coffee with Kenobi any better. I'm so grateful for you sharing your Star Wars story. I hope that it was gave you a chance, because I think you've got such a great story. I feel like we just scratched the surface of it, but I really appreciate you sharing your Star Wars story with us.
Well, thanks for having me on to explore things, the edges of my fandom that I had not explored in a long time. And I think it makes me think a little bit now. I'm thinking a little harder at some of these questions and go, wait, I thought about this, and I'm going to come back on and talk about that. So, and also I like the fact that it went from like kind of early to later. I like that timeline. I think that was really fun to be able to explore that, because as I was answering questions, I could reach back into some of those earlier questions and pull that forward. And so, a really fun time. I think it was a blast to reminisce, especially with all the experiences I've had with Star Wars. It makes me want to have just so many more.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to reach out to you and ask you, hey, can you explain that? Or what do you think about this? Or just want to just say hello. Where's a good place for people to reach out to you?
Sure. Yeah, you can touch base with me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Cory Clubb, on Instagram as well. What else? You can email me, coryc@coffeewithkenobi.com. That still works. But yeah, jump out online. Tell me what your thoughts are, what your fandom's like. I'd love to become friends with you. Star Wars is easy, right? Let's do it. Let's make this happen. But yeah, check that out and follow me there.
And hey, again, thank you so much, dude, for your friendship and for helping to pave the way for this podcast and for bringing so many people together.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
For all things Star Wars, news, reviews, videos, and more, head to our home base, coffeewithkenobi.com. Don't forget to join the CWK Cafe on Facebook at coffeewithkenobi.com/community, our family-friendly, spoiler-free group for all your Star Wars thoughts, comments, and conversation. This podcast is possible thanks to the incredible support of the CWK Alliance. Want to help keep the show brewing? For as little as $1 a month, you can join the CWK Alliance and get access to CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly audio and video podcast. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. And know this, 10% of your monthly contributions goes directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Want to connect? You can email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com. Follow me on X at Mr. Zer, MRZEHR, Instagram, Threads, at DanZerCWK, and Blue Sky. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can follow Coffee with Kenobi across social media on X, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, and Blue Sky, and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi. And if you want to send an email to the show, you can email us feedback at coffeewithkenobi.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find over 700 videos, including past live shows, events, and this podcast. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps more Star Wars fans find our little corner of the galaxy. Do you need a speaker for your next event? Visit danzmedia.com. I love to discuss mythology, leadership, storytelling, or create something tailored to your audience. And finally, Grab your CWK gear at coffeewithkenobi.com/shop and show your support in style.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.